There we go. All right, now we're recording, so anything you say can and will be held against you. Anyway, again, to quickly introduce myself, my name's Dave Long. I'm from the Diocese of Allentown, and I am the chair of Public Forum tab this weekend. And on my screen to my left is Janet Novak. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Janet Novak, Boston Diocese, Lexington High School, member of PF Tab.
Yep. And the point of this meeting, and you'll notice that it's been deliberately referred to as a public forum judge orientation. This is not a training. This is, basically our assumption is that you have judged before or you have been trained to judge. So we are not going into those details. What we want to do is just kind of go through our kind of just a bit of an overview of what it is that you can expect this coming weekend and everything. And so that's the point of this. If you have questions about how to judge, please check with the coach that's bringing you or your diocese director or anything, because again, that's something that we are kind of assuming that everybody has at least been trained in judging and can understand some of the terminology and things that we're going to be using. So. All right. So first of all, the one thing to let everybody know is obviously the tournament is this weekend. We are at the convention center. If you were staying at the Marriott Marquis, I did not know this. Janet did not know this. Our other friend Jim, who's helping run, did not know this. There is apparently a tunnel from the Marriott Marquis to the convention center. And considering it's supposed to be rainy this weekend, I checked on NOAA and everything. It looks like it's going to rain this weekend. That is a good thing to know. So, if you are staring at the Marriott Marquis, there is apparently a tunnel to the convention center, and so that's the one thing. So, and the thing is that we are a very early start and kind of a late finish. So we'll kind of put that out right away. Um, is first of all, basically our first round starts at 7:30 in the morning. So our blast will go out at 7 o'clock. Tab staff, we're reporting at 6:45, so we can just double check, check our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and send things out. So that our first blast will come out at 7 o'clock, and for the 7:30 round. Very important to keep in mind in the preliminary rounds, they are double flighted, meaning in the hour and a half slash 2 hours time slot of a round, you will judge two debates. Okay. One other thing also just to emphasize is all of our judging assignments are paneled. I know at local tournaments or even some state level tournaments, you may be the only judge in the room. For nationals for this tournament, we have all of our preliminary rounds are three judges. So please make sure that you have three judges. And I believe in Tab Room, when you look at your ballot, it lists off to the right. Here's who your other two, colleagues are. So double check. It's like, okay, all right, Dave Long, I'm in my round. Okay, I should have this Frank Riccobono. Is Frank here? Oh, there's Frank. And then Janet. Okay, Janet's next. So that is the thing. Please do not start your round until you have all three judges. Live docs, Frank, correct me if I'm wrong. Live docs are coming out tomorrow.
That's the
Okay,
goal.
there we go. That's the hope.
Can I
Um,
just add one quick thing, Dave?
please do.
Please, please, please ensure that all ballots are in before moving on to your next flight within a round.
Thank
That's
you.
super important. It's so easy to conflate arguments across multiple debates, and especially given the number of debates that you'll be judging this weekend, keeping things immediately after a debate, submitting that ballot is so important.
Yes, thank you. Very good point. Basically, and my own personal opinion, now get on my little soapbox, I think we kind of do give ourselves a disservice by saying, oh, you can finish your comments later. Yes, you can. But I think to Janet's point, I think it's very important to try to put in your comments as you're going along. Because again, you're going to hear quite a few debates during Saturday and on Sunday. And again, as she said, you're going to start mixing and matching. Well, who said this? So I always say when I'm helping her run a tournament is type your comments in the ballot as you're going along. And, again, once that round is done, I believe the live doc says you have technically 55 minutes from the start of the round to when and this is not even like when you hit start, it's literally what time was the round supposed to start. So at 7:30, you should have your ballot submitted by 8:25. Okay. Not as though it's not as though anything is going to shut down. Nothing is going to come screaming at you if you don't have it done. But, it is that is the expectation. A public forum round takes about 45 to 50 minutes. And basically the expectation is once they have finished, you're like, okay, you know, and the one thing we do ask that you do in your
They have
ballot,
finished. And one thing we do ask that you do in your
oops, please mute yourself or I'm going to hear myself three times. There we go. Is please put in your reason for decision very clearly. I am voting con, or I decided to vote pro. Give a little maybe explanation if you can, because sometimes what gets frustrating is kids will be like, okay, they voted pro, but looking at their explanation, looking at their reason for decision, it looks as though they voted con, or vice versa. So please make sure that when you put in your reason for decision, you are very deliberate. In the end, I decided to vote on the con side. I was moved by these arguments, da 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 da, and in the end, I voted con. Like, literally, I will oftentimes bookend my RFD with saying how I'm voting and how I'm voting, just so it's very very plain for people to see. Okay, and obviously you need to do decision and we do points. Yes, and we do have points. So please make sure you look at that as well. Okay. All right.
But writing your decision, amazing. Do not say the decision out loud.
Thank
Debaters
you.
cannot know at the end of the round who you voted for. It's totally secret until the posting party. So they should not know. I mean, they might have a gut feeling, oh, I feel like I did well, but past that, that's it. We cannot confirm, deny. We don't say, oh, I voted for you because we just write that in the ballot as best as we can without telling the debaters.
Thank you. And along with that part, again, in terms of again, we want to start on time and end on time. We don't have time for oral critiques, and again, that's not allowed in the NCFL. So yes, so no disclosure, no oral critiques. If somebody sees you on your way to get lunch, so how was the round? Oh, it was great. All of my comments are on my ballot, and walk away. So yes, there is no disclosure. One thing in terms of the double flighting, and this will be stated in the live doc. The idea, again, like I said, of a double flight is, Team A is hitting Team B. And then the second set, Team C is hitting Team D. What we ask to happen is that all four teams go to your cubicle. If you haven't been in the DC and in Nationals, we are using the entire convention center display area, which is huge. And the idea is they have done what is called pipe and drape. They have made little space cubicles with pipes and then they put curtains in between. It isn't the best competition space, I will admit, but it is what we have. And you get used to it. You focus on the people. Your table will be literally right up front, and the debaters will be right in front of you. But the idea is we ask the four teams to go to the cubicle and report in and say, okay, hi, we're the second flight, but the thing is that if for some reason the first flight somebody got lost, somebody maybe their tummy isn't doing that well, so they're in the restroom for a little longer. If your B flight, your second flight is there, go ahead and have them start. Then when you're done, the A flight definitely should be there. But the one thing again, and we do ask that you be very careful with this, only judge the pairing that you have. So if your B flight, I'm just going to pick out names here, are Joseph and Harsha, and the against Quinn and Lisa, that is who you should be judging. Do not mix Joseph and Harsha with Paul and Rashana. Okay, so that's the thing is we need to make sure that whoever has been assigned to be against each other, that is who you are judging. In case you're not aware of how this goes, the first two rounds are randomly paired. We just say, okay, throw everything up in the wind, see who winds up hitting each other. After the first two rounds, we'd start saying, who's the 2 and 0? Hitting another 2 and 0. Who are the 1 and 1s? Hitting a 1 and 1. Who's a 0 and 2? And then we keep doing that. And so it's very important that you are following the pairings as they are given. So again, if all four teams show up, great. All right, we'll take the A flight. And the one thing we do ask, and I think it says this in the live doc, say to the teams, okay, so I have And you'll have number codes, but I believe on the actual ballot you will see their names. So you can say, okay, I have code 152, John and David, and I have code 254, Frank and Bob. All right. And then at the end of the round, repeat that. So again, John and David were on the pro, Frank and Bob were on the con. Just as a double check, make sure everybody has that correct. Okay. It seems like a lot of hassle to do, but it makes things like go much more smoothly if we know, okay, for sure, here's who we should have, here's who we did have. So, all right, let's see. I already mentioned that we are in the convention center on Saturday. Just to let you know, for Sunday, just skip to Sunday real quick. We are at the Westin Hotel on Sunday. Your assignment for Sunday, you will need to check with your league director or maybe the coach of the school that you're judging for. They should know. Because every league director was required to say, okay, here's who we're going to put in for elimination rounds. And so that's not something that we will be able to tell you easily, but your league director should be able to.
You should also be able to see that if you log into Tab Room, it will say which Sunday pools you are in on your login page. So click your email at the top right of the Tab Room screen, and it will tell you if you're judging, say, octos or quarters or semis or however the league has placed you.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Okay. In terms of sorry, going back to Saturday, again, as Janet mentioned, you are going to be judging quite a bit. Again, the rounds are double flighted. The one thing is, it is very likely that most of you or many of you will judge all 5 rounds. The thing is that we do have some extra judges with every round, but there are what are referred to as regional constraints. We don't want some. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania. We don't want an Allentown Public Forum team debating against the Philadelphia Public Forum team. We see each other every week, so we did an entire trip to DC just to see each other again. That is deliberately avoided. So the Allentown Public Forum team will debate somebody from Detroit or somebody from Atlanta. So yes, we will have some extra judges every round, but that might not necessarily carry over to everybody getting a round off. It would be wonderful. I would love to be able to say everybody's going to get at least one round off. I don't know if I can do that, and I don't want you throwing eggs at me when you see me. All right. So the one thing is, again, to Janet's self-help is bring snacks, bring water. There is a food area. I want to say it's Convention Center Display Area C, I think is where the food will be. In case you have not heard, they do not do cash sales. It is all card or Google Pay or Apple Pay or whatever. So just be aware of that. Also, it's a convention center, so the prices will probably be a little steep. So bring your own water, bring your own snacks and things. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Again, live doc. Hey, Janet, I'll stop yapping if you want to go through the section where Jim started about the actual ballot, procedure once you're assigned and go to your room and do you see what I'm saying?
Valid proceed. Sorry, I was typing to a judge.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
I'm just looking at Jim's outline and basically he gets into once you receive your ballot, you should hit.
Once you receive your ballot, you should hit start right away. That lets us know that you're judging. We have people that will be checking in on every room, making sure that everybody's there. So it's really, really important that you are letting us know that you know. If you don't acknowledge it, we will try to call and make sure that you know that you have a ballot, etc. Please answer your phone for all sorts of area codes. But unfortunately, if you don't press start, we don't know that you know about it. So please do that right away. You should go to the room right away. It's if you have the opportunity to start early, if you have all 3 judges in both teams, please feel free. The quicker that rounds go, I mean, of course, while giving everybody due diligence, celebrating the fact that we're at nationals, the quicker the rounds are able to go, the more likely we are to stay on time. And unfortunately, because of what Dave was saying earlier, where we match the 2 O's hitting the 2 O's and the 3 1s hitting the 3 1s, just one missing ballot can postpone the next round because we can't pair it until we have every ballot. So please head to that pipe and drape room right away. Um, in the rounds, unlike other tournaments that you've judged, possibly, Public Forum does not have a coin flip for the first 4 rounds. Pro always goes first in every single round, but there's no flip. So Tabroom assigns who is pro, who is con until round 5. During round 5, the coin flips for PF begin, but unlike most PF tournaments, it's only flipping for what side you are. Pro will continue to always go first for all NCFL PF rounds for all time. Unless they've met before, the flip will happen. All of that gets taken care of on tab room. It's not something that you all need to worry about outside of when you're in the room and you check for who is there. Make sure that you have a specific team. So we had mentioned, I think it was Quinn and Peter with Roshana and Jessica. Make sure that you know who is pro because it's possible that your ballot will have somebody else once we get into the flips on an opposite side. And then you'll need to refresh your ballot because that means that the flip happened after you acknowledged it. Um, and importantly, and I think that we've kind of talked around this, but haven't stated it explicitly, if you have not judged on a panel before, you cannot confer with the other judges. Saying hello, how are you? Saying you had a great round, all of those things are appropriate and amazing and definitely building community, but a judge's decision must be made individually. So make sure that you aren't having any sort of conversations outside of pleasantries, nice to meet you, this was a great debate, even with your fellow judges.
And
And then
also,
the round takes place. Oh,
sorry, and also with that, try not even have an appearance of that because the kids know that there's not supposed to be any conferring. So if we're sitting in the tab room and somebody walks in and say, "Well, my judges were conferring about their decision," and we call and maybe and at that point we might have to call in the 3 judges and say, "This is what we were told," and they'll probably say, "No, we weren't. We were actually just discussing how good of a round it was." The kids get a little paranoid, especially at a tournament this significant. They get a little concerned. One quick thing just to add in terms of let's see. In terms of if you are not given a round, again, as soon as you see that you have a round, please hit start round. The judges' lounge is in the convention center, room 146 ABC. Basically, I think it's 3 little conference rooms that are opened up together. So if you are not seeing that you have a ballot, please go to the conference room, the convention center, 146 ABC, because actually one of our friends who will be in the part of our tab staff is going to be stationed there. And so we'll call Katrina or we'll just even walk down and say, "Hey, we're missing," I'll just pick Amy Holland. "We're missing Amy." And she's like, she called us and Amy's sitting there like just finishing her coffee. Like, "Oh yeah, I saw, I'm on my way." Now we don't have now we don't have to worry about Amy because Katrina was in the judges lounge and so was Amy and she was just getting her last cup of coffee and heading out. So yeah, so if you are not assigned, please make sure that you go to the judges lounge. Okay. Sorry, let's look at some of these questions real quick. Um,
yep.
Ben,
Frank
for
and
out
I have
rounds,
been
it says
answering
if we're
them.
in a pool, does that mean we're judging that round? Ben, that's the idea is you're in that pool. You should make sure that you come either expecting a round or again, sit in the judges lounge and then you are, oh, I'm sorry, Janet, you answered that. So, and,
No, but it is probably good to read out the answers just for the
oh,
sake of the
sure.
people on the recording.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're obligated for the round. We don't know the judge's assignment, but again, 30 minutes beforehand is when we're going to send the blast out. Should you all just expect to show up for the 7:30 on Saturday? Yes, that is the thing. Pretty much on Saturday, everyone in a way is waiting for get to get a ballot. Everybody should expect to get a ballot. Um, and the difference between Tabroom and LiveDocs, basically Tabroom is the system that the computer system that is running the whole tournament. But that's how lead directors register. That's how Other people have been doing different parts of the tournament, things of that sort. And so the settings, again, rules and things of that sort are set up. The live doc basically is literally the term live doc means that it's a Google document that is constantly being updated. So it is live in that, Frank is our one of our tech gurus, and so he's sitting there like, oh, okay, we need to put out an announcement that Lincoln Douglas debate. We'll just curse them. They're running late, and so they need to maybe cut something short a little bit. Their lunch break is going to get cut short or something, and so something will come out in the live doc that people then can see. So that is the idea there. So, okay. Oh, yes. And yeah, at least it's tab room, not tap room. Tap room would be a lot more fun, but you're right. Ba, 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 ba. Yes, yeah, be in the area. But basically, we are planning on blasting out the assignments every half hour, a half hour ahead of time, as it were. So, and that the one thing is both flights will come out a half an hour ahead of time. So the 7:30 round, the 7:30 at 7 o'clock, you'll get your 7:30 assignment and your 8:30 assignment. Okay. All right. All right. I think. Oh, yes. Kind of students who are the students basically their hangout spot, they can hang out. I think, Frank, is there a specific place in the convention center for kids to hang out, or are they just expected to go outside or like
There
enjoy the
is, I don't know off the top of my head, there is a room on the main meeting level floor that's a hangout spot. And then there's also Hall C where there's the food court. There'll be some tables and things in there that people can hang out
Okay.
in.
All
But
right.
there is a room on the main ground level floor. I just don't remember offhand what
Okay.
number it is.
Yeah, so again, flight A, once they're done, they can go there, or flight B, while they're waiting for flight A to finish, they can go there. The one thing to keep in mind is, first of all, with the cubicles, we don't have really space for observers. So if someone comes in and says, "Hey, my coach just told me to go watch a debate, can I watch this?" Like, you probably don't have room. On Sunday, the expectation is that people can observe, but the one thing is debaters cannot observe their own event. So if you're like, okay, well, the flight A is here, and some kid from the flight B says, well, can I just hang out here and just watch? No. The answer is unfortunately no. Because what could happen is they may debate one of those teams later on. And so, yeah, so the basically debaters cannot watch their own event. And so, and like I said, the cubicles, you probably won't have room to have people in there anyway. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, Janet. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Not an interruption at all. Um, it's honestly, there's a lot of moving parts to this tournament, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that there will be a lot of rounds that happen over the course of 2 days. During those rounds, you'll be with fellow judges. You won't be conferring with those judges. Debaters will quote evidence, they'll read certain persuasive cases to you, and your job is to take all of your personal thoughts, put them in a box, and vote based on what the debaters have said. And we've already talked about there being no disclosure, no conversations. Genuinely, I think that that basically is covered. I think we've covered everything on the list, Dave, with the exception of just really emphasizing, please, please, please ensure that you submit ballots in between. Please bring snacks. Please bring water. It's going to be a long day. It is going to be a long day, and we really appreciate all that you're doing for these students. And we are so grateful for you taking this time out of a very busy month, out of normally really um, you know, family party, friend-oriented weekend to really be here to celebrate the accomplishments of students. And it's going to be a long day. And just please, 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 please submit your ballots as fast as you can, as thoroughly as you can. We know that that's a large ask. We know it's a long day. And if you can just stay in those rooms until the ballots are submitted, bring snacks, bring headphones for your downtime in between. And we really appreciate you, Dave. I don't know if there's anything.
In terms of, there's a question Allison Parker put, how much time is there between rounds? The first two rounds, I want to say, are almost back to back. You might have like a 5 minute, 10 minute break in between, but then after round two, I believe is our lunch break. I believe I'll have to check when the schedule comes out on the live doc. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how we usually go. Is we do the first two rounds that again are randomly paired, because when we have to do the pairing based on record, once we start, then we get that takes a little longer, so we have a little bit more down payment, downtime and everything. Not much, but I would say once we get into the paired rounds now, once we say okay, the we're pairing this the two and O's against the two and O's, the one and ones against the one and ones, etc. Then that what happens with that takes maybe there'll be more like a half an hour time between each the round. So you'll judge, you'll submit your stuff, and then a half an hour later, then we can send out the next flight, the next assignment, everything. Ben, your question about payment, are you asking from the NCFL itself or from your school? That might be somebody else's.
Yeah,
That's not something that we can cover.
if you were a tournament hired judge, you should have been in contact with Greg Cunningham right now, and he'll be able to give you that information.
There
And
we
if
go.
you're hired by a school, then you need to coordinate with whichever school is bringing you.
Janet, one thing which I noticed in there, and just for everybody's knowledge, because again, different areas of the country do things differently. Um, the points are for the team. You do not do points per individual. So again, if Janet and I are a public forum team and we debate in front of you, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, that day was horrible. We're going to give him 20 points, and Janet's phenomenal. She's going to get 30." It's just okay. Come to the middle, and we get a 27 or something. There is actually, I believe, even a little breakdown on the side with the ballot saying this is a 29.5 to a 30. You were incredible. I would love, I think the way a friend of ours, Jeff, puts it, I would frame your speeches. These were incredible. And then it just works its way down and everything. So, all right. Sonali, I'm sorry, you have your hand up. Thank you.
I have a quick question. I don't know if that is already covered, but suppose something happens, I'm in a round and I miss something. So, is there any contact that I can just, because for semifinals and everything, we had one person contact, so I could contact him and, hey, the kids are not here or something. To, is there emergency contact that you guys are?
There will be, I think it'll be in the live doc. And the one thing also
Okay.
is we are going to have, we have we have five of our tab staff that'll be floating around the 50, so the 50, I think it's 48, cubicles that we're using. So there will be people in the areas checking, okay, hey, cubicle 1, 2, 3, you should have these teams and three judges. So we will have some people floating around the area as well, but I think there also should be a number in the live doc.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yes, Stephanie, to your question, the team we don't do tied points. We'd like to be able to say, okay, definitely this team, if it's and you can go down to tenths of a point. So if you want to say they were phenomenal, 29.5, 30, that's fine. Let's see. Oh, in terms of Suhail, in terms of multi-judge judges between keeping time, um, yes, first of all, a round should not start until all the judges are there. That's definitely a do not start until all three of your judges is there. You could just designate somebody or ask if somebody would be willing to keep track of prep time. Typically, the kids will time themselves for their speaking time, but I still run my watch anyway, my stopwatch anyway. But in terms of prep time, usually one person kind of just calls it out. Yeah. Oh, yes. And Billy, to your answer, yes, you give feedback just, but only on your ballot. You do not actually tell the kids we are not disclosing at this tournament. The kids don't get any feedback until we are heading away from awards and Frank or somebody pushes the magic button and results and comments come out. We do not do anything. We don't do anything to the students themselves. So you're going to be typing your feedback in the ballot itself. Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to raise hand or type it in the chat. Okay. All right. And again, information will come out in the live doc. And again, there will be some numbers. Let's see. Thank you, Lisa. That is all we ever can ask. Just do the very best that you can. And, yeah, we're excited to have you here as well. So, okay. All right. If there are no other questions, again, we want to respect your time. I think Jen and I said like 15, 20 minutes. We're at 30 minutes, so not too bad. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And again, we will see you all in DC this weekend. Safe travels.
Safe travels, you're all amazing.